Welcome to my daily practice at Wendy Code Art. If you find this video interesting or helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video.
Hi, my name is Wendy and I'm an artist. I've been an artist my whole life and I am excited to invite you into my studio and show you my art practice. I paint every day and I do acrylic on paper. I also do stencils. I draw. I organize my studio space. I do a lot of things. For me, art is about problem solving, so there's always little tricks and tools that I can share with you along the way. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, I'm so excited today because I have some new paper on the walls here. Yes, I finished 36 paintings. I think it's 36, 32, 38. I'm averaging it, 36. And it took a while. And, you know, that's the way that I work. I work on multiples. Actually, if I count the ones on the table, I probably finished about 50 paintings. But it took a month. And so that's good. But now I get to start all over again, and I'm very, very excited about that. So these boards are ready to go. I tried to get everything done yesterday, but I just ran out of time. And, you know, it's very special to me when I am finished with a group of paintings. You know, I feel, I don't know, like there should be some kind of a fanfare or a celebration or something like that, but I'm not going to do that because kind of every day is a celebration. But I thought what I would do is just wait, you know, take most of the staples out, which I did, and then just kind of take them down here now, you know, while you're here. And it's I don't have any drum rolls, music, things like that, but it is an occasion, and it is a celebration, and I'm very excited because not only do I love these, I don't know if you followed me for a while, but I started off not really thinking these bullseyes were going to go anywhere, or these circles. I should stop calling them bullseyes. And I have to be gentle because I always forget something. What have I forgotten here? Yeah, there's always like a staple somewhere. And if I move too fast, then I tear it. And I don't want to do that because I like them all. And this was the first one. I made this set of circles first, and then I did a semicircle and a quarter of a circle. I like this one in particular because it didn't work as a complete with the pigment laying on the paper completely. So those are the happy accidents. Yeah, can't tell if it's the paint sticking or if it's a staple, but in this case it was the paint. And 6 more of these. Something's hanging on over here. Yes, it's a staple. I used to tape my painting, you know, my paper so that, like I do on the small ones here, put tape all around. But boy, that was a commitment to 3M, and it was just a lot of tape. So I found that the staples work pretty much as well, and so I'm using the staples now. And this had started off as kind of a dull, I mean, it's still dark, but it's not dull, mainly because of the turquoise in the center. They were very surprising to me. I'm just going to turn a light on over here. Voila. Another wayward staple. It was late when I took the staples off. And I like this one because it's got some nice kind of pastel energy going on there too. So that's it. Oh no, I have more. Actually, I'm going to be taking these down too. But I haven't taken out any of the staples, so that would be a long process. So, a good day in the studio. Now I get to put some more paper up, and but that's going to be a little drawn out because I have to tear the paper into the right size because I work with a roll of paper. Let me get that out. Last night I did the counter roll, so it had been rolled in one direction for a while, and if you try to unroll it, it just curls up on you. It doesn't lay flat like these paintings. It just kind of rolls right back into the shape that it was. And so if you roll it in the reverse direction and leave it for a little while, it's funny, you can't leave it for too long because it will then just take that shape as well. It depends on the thickness of the paper, of course. But with this paper, I have noticed that 12 hours is kind of optimum, and more than that, then it starts to take on the alternate roll, and less than that, and it doesn't really unroll that much. Another one of those dark ones that I really like, and here, this one is really good too. I know. They make me happy. Now, this is interesting because I don't have any drips, so I don't have the directional, whoa, it's kind of like flying in a cloud. Lose your sense of direction. But I have lots of photographs, so I can always reference those. And that's why you take photographs. Oh, I meant to do that today. Just show you how I take my photographs. I guess I'll wait till the next time. It's not that hard, but I'm not doing it as labor intensively as I used to. And It feels like a staple, and it is. The important thing with the photographs is the light, and I don't have the optimum light. This plastic is a little bit of a problem too because it reflects. But you do want, if your work is here, I'm going to turn these around because I'm going to paint on here in a minute. But if your work is here and you have your camera, well, all my cameras are used, but you want it to be square in the frame, and you want light from 45 degrees. So here's a 90-degree angle coming out. You want light here and you want light here, and that will take away the shadow casts. And it should be even light, and I use these fluorescents. Now these are not the best, but they are color corrected to daylight, and they work. I mean, really, this is not for the Metropolitan Museums of Art's catalog. Then you would want a professional photographer. For the most part, when they're going online, the screen is never that big. Maybe, if it's a computer, I don't know. I don't know that people even expand it that much anymore to see. So, so that's basically it. And now we have these camera phones. They're amazing. I used to have these heavy cameras, the 35 millimeter slides. You had to, I had to take, like, if I needed 3 images or 3 slides to send off somewhere, then I needed to take 9 slides because I wouldn't know if it was, the aperture was right. So you'd take what you thought was right and the camera told you was right, and then you did 1 notch above and 1 notch below. Yeah, I've forgotten all my photographic lingo. Although I started in photography, and I love it. So, I don't know if I'm going to show you how I work these tearing the paper. I usually do it on the floor, which is not very graceful. Let me see if I can do it on the table. So I need a model for the size. And as you can see, the paper is not curling back into itself, which is really great. I could do these one at a time, but I'm not going to do that. That's kind of pretty, just like that. By one at a time, I mean I could cut each one individually, but I'm going to do them in mass. So basically, I want my first fold measuring from this. I hope that one was accurate. But there's a lot of leeway here. So I cut these in half, and one side is a little bit not factory measured. So I make sure that I'm on the side with the factory measure. And just because I make mistakes, I'm going to just double check with another painting, make sure I've got that right. It's within centimeters. I'm happy with that. So that's the first fold, and here is the second one. All I need is just that little bend. And then I make sure that everything is lined up. There's that little bend. And I just go boom, 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 boom. I go back and forth until the paper is pretty much folded up. And then I just take my spatula, my palette knife, or just a butter knife, as it turns out. Where's that butter knife? It's one of the old style butter knives. It's really great because it's just like a spatula or a palette knife. And then I just tear the edge. I'm just going to do a few now, and I'll finish them off later. Tearing the edge. Now, if it gets a little, if the tear starts to go the wrong way, I come from the other side. Make sure I have the sharp edge of the butter knife, and I just come from the other side, and it fixes it. Now, some would say, well, there's a reason to buy sheets of paper. And I agree. But, they're more expensive, and I just like to, have my hands on the paper. That's really the main thing. And I like the sound of the paper. Look at that. The movement of the paper just glides. Hear that? That's the sound of rippling paper. Okay. And if you haven't seen me staple paper to the boards, there's a video for that. Yes, I did that video because I was, and still am, dedicated to really just showing all aspects of the day-to-day in the studio. And that's definitely one of the aspects. Stapling. Putting the staples on, taking the staples off, putting the staples on, taking the staples off. It's all good because if I'm doing that, and yeah, it's laborious sometimes, but if I'm doing that, it means that I'm succeeding in my painting. I mean, I can't argue with that. I can't really complain. So it makes me happy. All right, now I usually take a brush or a squeegee for my first passes, and I think I'll use the squeegee. I go around here to get my paint. And here. So I'm thinking as I'm doing this, I almost always start with light colors, and I'm still processing this. I can't believe it's going, through my head over and over and over again. Paintbrush, squeegee, paintbrush, squeegee. Really, that's exactly what's going on in my head. Wow, the squeegee's nice, but boy, the paintbrush would be really the way to start. Don't you always start with a paintbrush? Yes, but it's that dialogue. It's like, oh dear, I might be oversharing. You think? What I'm going to do actually is I just looked down and I saw this gorgeous, it has to be the ultramarine blue. Ultramarine blue is pretty special. And so I'm just going to do more of a solid block of ultramarine blue and just see how that works. Wow, yeah, I like it. Now it's very thin, the coat of paint. I mean, I can make it thicker by just letting more paint come off the squeegee. I certainly have control based on the angle of the squeegee. Oh, I love it when it does that. Just kind of sparkles. So up and down, and then this one, this is interesting too. It kind of gives a like a corrugation. It's got little lines coming up there. And last but not least, I am going to, I know I saw it here. Here it is. I'm going to use a little bit of water on this, good to the last drop. Wow, that's subtle and pale. Had to really push on that one. It's like the first dance, it's like going to the ball and the first dance, just music. It's so great. This feels like a waltz. And that's all I have. That's all the paper I have up. Tomorrow I'll have another 24 pieces of paper up that are all fresh and ready to go. And but I think I can do one more pass here. And I think I'll go back to my pastel notions. And just add a little bit of a yellow or this limey green that I favor. Because it's very, very close to yellow. And I'm going to use one of the big brushes. These were my hardware store brushes, I think, for varnishing. And, they're natural bristles. I don't know that they make them anymore, or I'm sure they make them, but I don't know if they get imported here anymore. Probably still find them. I just bought so many that I haven't really had to purchase anything for a while. So this is like a little conversation between the various shapes. And I'm just adding, at this point, I'm just adding for some interest, for some, it's not really contrast because there's not a great deal of contrast. There's a little contrast, not a great deal, but color and movement, just getting back into the dancing analogy. And why do I use, go across all of them, if I get a color like this color or like the blue, I do blue, 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 and then green, 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 green. Because I like them. They're part of a kind of a whole. I sometimes think to put them together in a way, but I'm mixing things up here because I have horizontals, I have verticals, so I could only do it with 6, or actually, I'm not sure I could do it with those 2. I could divide that in 2, so there'd be 4. But and I've done that in the past. I've moved the paper closer to the edge, so that it's like one piece of paper. And why wouldn't I just work on one piece of paper? Well, it's hard to find big paper, sheets of paper, and then it's almost impossible to store it. Really, you want it to lay flat, so it's taking up a huge amount of a footprint. And I'm sad that that's a reason not to do something, because I don't, but I just don't have the facility to do that, and I don't need to. I like uh, as soon as I saw that David Hockney was doing that with his, of course, his were some of the paintings that he'd done on his iPad or something, and they were in a grid because you couldn't blow it up big enough. If you took a picture of a large sheet, yeah, you lose some of the quality. So I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that that's the reason for them to be on the grid. So, but it doesn't matter, whatever the reason, who cares? Let's see if I can mush a little something. I want another color, but I'm not just sure which. I think I should leave it. I'm already past my the boundary of just doing some one color and letting it dry before really going in with other colors. And I just have the impulse to just keep going, but sometimes you have to wait. So I'm going to do that now. Follow my own good advice. And like I said, tomorrow on both sides, these will be full of new paper. Very, very excited about that. So thank you for joining me today. And today was a good day with the videos. I've had a week of just kind of video flubs, but yeah, I think everything went well. I'll know as soon as I turn off the cameras, see if they all worked or what went wrong. Some microphone was off. Now you might notice that I wear 2 microphones, and that's because if the microphone fails, then you got nothing. I mean, I could do a voiceover, but it's very laborious. So I had enough microphone fails in the beginning that I decided to just wear 2 microphones so that I would get the audio whenever I needed it. If one went down, then the other would supply. So that's been working. Well, have a great day. I hope you can go and look at art or make art, um, have some fun, and I'll see you on the next tape. So I'm so happy that you are joining me today and maybe other days too. I'll take you through my day to day as an artist, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tape. Thanks for being here.